Alright, welcome back everyone. In the previous clip, this was exactly where we stopped. What I forgot to do then was to introduce myself to you properly in the previous clip. I am the prof, the CTO of Ogitech Networks Limited. That is the Chief Technological Officer of Ogitech Networks Limited. This is part of our philanthropical work, and I was delegated to walk you through, as in to walk this batch through from the beginner stage to the advanced stage of web designing. Okay, so I am going to be very fast this time around because I just want to get you started. I just want you to understand the basics. All right, we stopped by creating this file called introduction.html in the previous clip. So we're going to go in and go into it. I will click on the introduction.html. This is the body or the screen of our file. Is it working at all? Beautiful. All right. So we have this. Let me start by explaining the keyboard, by explaining this to you. All right. If you look at the bottom side of the screen, we have this Trebedit keyboard. All right. We have the div tag, we have the anchor tag, we have the image tag, we have the class, we have the ID, we have the HTML snippet, we have the paragraph, we have the span, the li, the ul, the input, and so on. You don't need to worry much or bother much about any of this for now. In the subsequent videos, you are going to get it, okay? So just as I said, this is a quick overview. I just want to get you started. I just want to get your hand into something. Is it working at all? All right, so we are going to start with the skeleton of HTML. But before then, if you look at the top, we have the name of our file, all right? Okay, let's just go ahead. All right, so as I was saying then, every programming language has its own skeleton, and HTML is not an exception, okay? So we're going to start by creating the skeleton of HTML. Please, I want you to know this. I want you to memorize it, and I want you to score this. Is it working at all? All right, so just as I said, don't bother much about any of this snippet for now. You are going to get it later on. Just let me get you started. Now, if you look at this, in the place of this HTML snippet, that is what we need for now. So I'm going to be clicking on that. Once I click on the HTML snippet, we have the HTML skeleton automatically generated for us. So we don't need to type in anything because the code has been auto-generated for us. So because we needed to type, I just press or click on the screen, or press the screen for my keyboard to be displayed. All right, so please take note of this. Every opening HTML tag must have a corresponding closing tag. If you look at it now, what do we have at the top? We have doc type HTML, the HTML, the lang, that is the head, the title, the head, then the body, all right? What do I mean by every opening tag must have a corresponding closing tag? This is the opening tag of our HTML. This is the closing tag of the HTML. What is the difference between the opening and the closing tag? This / is what differentiates the opening and the closing tag. After we have declared the HTML, the next thing that follows is the head. We have the opening tag of the head, and we have the closing tag of the head. What differentiates the opening and the closing? This / is working at all. Inside of the head, we have the title, the same thing. This is where whatever title, don't worry, you're going to get it. After that, we have the body, okay? The opening tag of the body and the closing tag of the body. Now, the body, this is where all the codes that we're going to be writing, this is where they'll be written. Is it working at all? Is it clear? Beautiful. All right, so for me to get you started, we are going to be making use of this Trebedit keyboard a lot, okay? So this is called a tag, right? Or what people call the less than, okay? So I'm going to be clicking on that less than, then we'll have H1, which stands for header 1. Now, as soon as I click or press this greater than sign to close it, can you see? It's automatically generated the closing tag of the H1 for us. Remember I told you that every opening tag must have a corresponding closing tag. Don't worry much or don't bother much about this H1 for now. You are going to get it in the subsequent videos. This is just to get your hand started. So I want to type in my name, which is the prof. I have it written there. Can you see now? Beautiful. So how do we view this code? The first thing that we need to do is to save what we have done. And for us to save, if you look at my screen, the top hand right hand corner side, we have 3 dots there. So I'm going to be clicking on that. We have new file, open folder, save, and so on. So I'm going to be clicking on save to save it. Now, how do we view this work? How do we see what we have done? If you look at the same top hand right, the top corner side, we have a play button. So I'm going to be clicking on that play to display what we have done. We have the prof. Is it working at all? All right. In the subsequent videos, we'll start properly.